Hello. In the upcoming release of the Silver Essence platform, we have put a lot of effort in improving the usability of the Silver editors. To show you some of the highlights, we did this video and I will guide you through some of the most important changes there. So let me log in to my local environment here and I will show you some of the changes for the upcoming release. Here I go from the menu to the Business Controller News Items. It's a simple list of news items here. And I use this one to start and I will show you some of the changes. Now, if you go into the menu, select System Editors and open up the full editor. Of course, you have to do the login here. Now, the Silver editor is aware that you opened it from the news item Business Controller. So, within the editor itself, the Business Controller news item is selected by default here. So that saves you another click here. And of course, the main business entity of that Business Controller is also selected here. So that's news item as well. And if we go down into mapping base entities, you will see the base entity news item is selected here as well. So if you open up the editor from the portal, you can continue working on where you left off from the portal menu. So what goes for the full editor also goes for the quick editor. If you open up the quick editor, it will open with the business entity news item, the business entity I was viewing in the portal. From the tool selector here, I can switch between the business controller up there or the base entity down there. But in general, you will switch between some tools: the base entity, the business entity, and the business controller. So we added this little toolbar down here. Now I am working in the business entity quick editor. Now if I go here to base entity and click the Q from quick editor, now you can see I switch to the base entity quick editor or to the business controller in edit mode and back to the business entity quick editor. And if I click the P button, I go to the business entity properties or the base entity properties. So this makes switching between base entity, business entity, and business controller a lot easier than opening up the menu and find the correct tool from the tool selector. It also makes it more intuitive. Let's go back to the full editor. And maybe you already noticed it. There is an option added here called auto save. I'm going to disable the auto save by unchecking this box here. And this is the behavior that you are used to within the editor. And let me show you another improvement to the usability here. Here you have an update button. In the previous version, and I have a previous version here, we had these little save icons. and you saved the changes you did in this specific panel, and you update the configuration. And you need to press the save button down there to save the file to disk, because the save icon only updates the configuration and only the section that is opened here. So we improved the usability here to make better distinction between the two buttons and the two functions here. So let's go back to the editor in the new style. This is an update button, and you will see it everywhere where those save icons used to be. And it makes it more clear that it only updates the configuration for the section you are working on. And as you can see, you can find them everywhere where those save icons were. Now, if I click such an update button here, it works almost the same as in the old version. It updates the configuration for this section. But watch down here. Here you can see we give an improved status message on what the last action was. So let's go, for example, here, and let's expand this panel and click the upload button, the update button here. And the status message will tell you that the input attributes for this property of this business entity were updated. And the Save Configuration button changes from color here to signal that there are unsaved changes. And we even show the number of unsaved changes. And the unsaved changes, you can see them in the tooltip of that button. So everywhere you click those update buttons, let's go up here to the security, and you can click here as well. And you can see the counter goes up and all the changes are now updated in the configuration. And if you click the button, then the changes are saved to disk. A backup is automatically created, and the editor session will be refreshed so you can see those changes. So the button changes back to its original state. Now, let me switch on the autosave mode. Now, if I go, let's say, up here, and I click the update button, because we are now in autosave mode, the configuration is updated first, and then we save the configuration to disk. We show the same status message, but you see the button changes. It doesn't show the number of changes because they are already saved. The session is automatically refreshed, and the only thing we didn't do is create a backup, a local backup. There's a local backup that you can restore here, and we don't make that local backup because you hit the update button much more than the save button. And if you would like to restore a backup, the number of backups would be dozens and dozens. So it is hard to find the right backup. So if you click the update button in autosave mode, we do save the backup, we do refresh the session, and the only thing you need to do after a number of changes you want to save, click the backup configuration button to create that local backup. Okay, let's go back to the portal here, and maybe you noticed it also when I opened up the editors here. Go to System, Editors, and here's a new option, Edit in Page. Let me click that button, and here you will see a number of buttons will become visible throughout the portal page. And they look kind of random, but let me show you what they do. For example, the list has a page size, which is shown down there. And if I click the button next to the page size, the editor opens, and it opens with the correct tool to change the page size here. So let me put it to 20, close the editor, and the page is automatically refreshed, and as you can see, the page size is now automatically applied and set to 20. Let me give you another example. Publish date is here at priority level 3. So if I want to use it, I need to use the slider. But the slider changes the priority, and click Edit Priority to change the priority of the properties. As you can see, publish date is at level 3, so let's switch it to level 1, the key properties. Now, close the editor, and as you can see, the change is applied automatically. Okay, let me search for a organization here, and I'm going to search for Cloudbusters, and let me open up the organization card here. And as you can see, in the card we also show these buttons. So here I could also go and change the priority of the properties here, or edit the security, maybe add an export or a print functionality here, change the copy actions, or let's go up here. Let's say we want to remove the list of registrations. Simply click this button, and the editor is opened with the correct tool for the correct business controller. So select the list, switch off the visibility, and update the configuration. And as we are in autosave mode by default, I don't need to save any changes. I just close the editor, and the list here is gone. And if I want to switch it back on, I click on the button that is close to the place that I want to edit in the page. So let's switch it back on here, click Update, close the editor window, and the list is back again. So this will make editing much more intuitive, because you start the editor from the right section in the page, and the correct corresponding tool will be opened. Even if you click for the quick jump menu here, you can go into the editing of the menu, and that also goes for the index and the building menu on top there. And when you're done, simply click Exit Edit in Page, and I see there's one button that we need to remove when you switch back, but then you are back here in the portal without these buttons. So That's another option which makes it much more intuitive to start editing the configuration. And I hope you like these changes, and we will roll them out later this week. Please leave your feedback and comments below and enjoy the changes.